Hi folks, I'm Stan, WB2LQF. Been a while since I made a video. Today I'd like to talk about something that's not particularly technical, but it's an idea that I had, and I just slogged through it during some cooler weather here in New York. And then when I mentioned it to a couple of people, showed it to a couple of fellow hams, they sort of liked the idea and said, gee, why didn't I think of that? So here it is, okay? Okay folks, there's my radio station. It's a very small desk, and we're retired now. We live in a townhouse. We don't have a whole lot of room. So my radio station is right in our combination living room, dining room, right next to a window that allows me to get to the antenna outside. And because I don't have a whole lot of room on this desk, I had to come up with something to allow me to be more comfortable. So I thought about an upside down wedding cake, and that turned into this monstrosity right here. You see, look at how small the footprint is. That measures about 12 inches across, and in there is my little Samlex switching power supply, my ICOM IC7300s in the middle, and up at the top is my MFJ tuner to handle all the solutions that the internal ICOM tuner can't handle, because my antenna operates 80 through 6 meters, and it's an end-fed 63-foot inverted L outside. But getting back to the main point here, I built this thing in just a day or so, using basically no tools except for electric screwdriver and some screws and a drill. And I was able to find lumber dimensioned almost perfectly for my purposes. Okay? The concept of the upside down wedding cake is nice because you get that small footprint, and I can put it in the corner of the desk, and the transceiver is practically, when I'm sitting down here, it's just about eye level. And if we go around here, I got a headset that's hung on the side. That's just an old wooden sign. I had made at a fair, county fair, many years ago. And around the back, there's some more magic. There's plenty of room for airflow, and I can get to all the connections when I need to change something around. Everything all nice and together. Makes plenty of use of little tie wraps there to keep everything bundled the way I want it. I could have finished it with polyurethane, I could have painted it out, but what I did is I simply stained it with some Minwax stain, and I put about a half a dozen coats of Johnson paste wax on it, buffing it in between each. And now I have what amounts to a piece of furniture that's a pretty close match to the desk. And I have all this room for all my keys, and I got a nice light in the center, and I got my local and universal time, some place to put my coffee cup. I got my globe that keeps me in touch with the people I worked, and I have my logbook right here. Plenty of room. Now, the interesting thing about building this little thing is that I can buy, or I was able to go to Home Depot and find wood that was dimensioned for the measurements of the various pieces of equipment. Okay? You know, you're talking about 1x2s, 1x3s, 1x4, 1x5, 1x6. Home Depot stocks this stuff in poplar, it stocks it in red oak, stocks it in pine. So you really don't have to worry about having a saw, one of those table saws to cut things properly. You can almost do it by just measuring your equipment and finding what fits, and still allows you enough room for air circulation. And with an open front and an open back and some room on the sides, I've had no problem whatsoever with any kind of heat buildup. Okay? And of course, one of the rules of amateur carpentry is that molding covers a multitude of sins. And I employed that technique. There's some simple strip molding here around the sides. A nice palm sander will round it off here so you don't have sharp corners. Molding going down here, covers up the edge grain on the wood. Makes it look pretty gosh darn nice. By the time you've stained it and waxed it, you got yourself a nice looking and a very functional setup for storing your equipment and preserving as much room on your operating desk as you want to. Now, of course, it doesn't work for everybody. A lot of people have plenty of room. They've got enough property to have great antenna farms, and they've got enough square footage in their homes to dedicate a special room for ham radio, or put it in the basement or the garage or something. Living in a townhouse, I don't have that kind of room. And I also don't have a whole bunch of extra equipment. So it works for me. Might also work for people just starting out, the other end of the spectrum. Instead of being old and retired like me, you're young and you're in your first apartment or home, and you got one rig and you don't have a whole lot of room to put it in. So here's an idea for you. Small footprint, upside down wedding cake, and just let your mind wander while you're laying in bed at night. Think about it, and maybe a good idea will surface. And I hope that this generated some thoughts for you. Okay, have a great day, folks. 73.